Hey, yo, this is DEV in the house, yo. How's it hanging? I just smacked my hands together. I'm not dressed appropriately for this bit. It's also funny how literally nobody gets to experience this except the people who rewatch the streams. Because it doesn't send out notifications fast enough, so nobody's here. Like, I do some weird intros sometimes, but I find it, like, kind of humorous, the fact that no one ever sees them. I kind of like that, personally. Anyway. Give it a few minutes for everybody to come in, like usual. I need to pull up my streams for myself. Let me see here. Maybe I am balding, man. I don't know. Hard to tell. Wouldn't be the worst idea to start some kind of prevention treatment, you know? Anywho, let me pull up the stuff we'll be using for today. We will be using Ads Manager. And that's it. Is that it? I think that's it. Yeah. Nice. Good shit. I love to see it. Love to see it doing well. Good stuff. Yeah. Anyway. Don't want to start too early, you know? Don't have much to say that's, like, not important. I don't want to say anything important until I know that the notifications have made their round. The stats are looking good, though. Quite like it. It's good stuff. Could make some more ad creatives. Something I should work on. My first high school football game was a lot like losing my V card. I was bloody and sore, but at least my dad came. I've heard this one before, actually. Are you the same guy that started insulting me last time after putting a joke? I think you might be, because I can't see why else. But the behavior is similar. No, you've never seen me. Okay, well, there is another guy who came in here who gave a really shit joke before. This one is better. It's just I've heard it before. But that guy gave like one that I really did not find funny, and then he just started berating me, insulting me. I didn't even say anything mean. I was just like poking fun at the fact that it was kind of lame. Anyway. Hi. You know, you know what's kind of funny about the algorithm? Because now that you've seen me, it's probably gonna like chase you for a little while. So this is probably not gonna be the last time you see me, even if you don't like me very much. So I apologize for that in advance. I don't have any control over that. Best of luck to you. Hey, Keen Guy. What are you keen about? Anything in particular? I'm keen to get the ball rolling and finally make some money from this damn business so I can change topics. That's what I'm keen about. What about you? I keep dropping by with shitty jokes. All right, sounds good. Here, before you leave, I've got one for you in case you didn't hear it before. This is one of my favorite dad jokes. You've probably heard it though. But it's let me try to remember just so I don't fuck it up. And God said to John, "Come forth and receive eternal life." But he came fifth and won a toaster. I really like that one. I don't know why. That's one of my favorites. I'm really not much of like a joke guy. Sometimes I find them funny. I find memes to be a good format, but in terms of like verbal jokes, I usually don't find like the classic short punchline jokes that funny. Sometimes they're good, but usually they're like, eh. I'm more of like a wit sort of guy. Like, I find it a lot funnier when somebody's put into some kind of situation and manages to spin it in a way that's funny. That's what I personally like the most. But sometimes they're good. I will admit, sometimes they're good. But yeah, you know what? You're welcome to drop by here once in a while and drop a shitty joke. Maybe occasionally it's gonna be a good one and it's gonna hit hard. Happens. It's been done before. It can be done again. Anyway, I think now is a good time to get into the ad campaign results. The Alex Hormozy book, how is it? Very good. Not for beginners though, but very good. The Money Models book. I quite enjoyed it. Let's see here. Let's see our ad campaign. So I'm going predominantly off of the main ad set that we're running. I turned off the other offer because it was doing shit. So it is at 27 leads, 4,000 reach, 1640 cost per result. These statistics are a little skewed because some of the leads are dead. So I'm actually going to remove 4 leads, I think it was. And I'll compare it then. Let's do divided by 20, not 23. 1925 cost per lead. That's in euro. CPM is 48 euro. That's cost per mile, cost per 1,000 impressions. Click-through rate is... Oh, wait. Did I read the right one? Yeah. Link clicks is 140. Impressions is 9,197. Cost per link click is 316. Link click-through rate is 1.52%. Then landing page views 98. So what's our landing page conversion? Let me do a little calculation real quick again. Our landing page conversion is 98 divided by 23. No, wait. No, it's 23 divided by 98 times 100. Landing page conversion is 23%, which is very solid. This is good shit. So from all the people that see our landing page, 25% of people-ish convert. So that's very good. My brother's into business as a funnel is important. Is that true? I mean, that's literally the most important part of getting customers in, is having a funnel which can grab them all in. It literally is like a funnel. It works like this as a structure. You have the top, middle, bottom. So you want to just have a simple system which takes people in, has a few filters in place, gets rid of anybody who's not super good, not qualified as you would call them, and until they fall through to the bottom. Yeah, and then go into your appointment calendar. One of the most important systems you want to have set up in a business. Yes, this is very true. My favorite is Jesus used to be a baker, but it took him 3 days to make dough rise. He decided to become a carpenter because it was more impressive to make a building rise in 3 days. That must be a joke I'm missing. Did he make a building rise in 3 days? What's that supposed to mean? I don't know. I don't get it. Hey, Husnain, what's up? What is favorite? Bro, don't watch porn. That shit is degenerate. Come on. Why do you watch porn? Get rid of it. Just remove it from your life. It's horrible. Don't watch it. You're contributing to all of the bad things in society by watching it. I'm a thumbnail designer. I know, Husnain, I remember. I'm aware. Are you using my streams as an advertising platform? If so, you should find bigger streams, man. Stress relief. Stress relief for what? How old are you? What are you stressed about? Tell me right now. What could you possibly be stressed about? Turns out Dwayne Johnson was living above my apartment and I didn't know. It turns out I've been living under a rock. Okay, I like that one more. That's better than the other two I heard. Sorry, Ellabek. I just think that that's a biblical reference I don't understand. I know about Jesus rising from the dead. I don't know anything about him rising a building. Fell on deaf ears for me, unfortunately. How can I find clients for thumbnails? 4 ways. Cold outreach, warm outreach, paid ads, or organic social media content. Do either €100 or $100 of paid ads a day, or 100 minutes of content a day, or 100 outreach attempts a day. That's ripped straight out of Alex Hormozy, but it's a good principle. Okay, so I added a second ad creative a while ago into my campaign. It hasn't been getting a huge amount of the spend, but it's been doing fairly well. Doing better than the original one so far. It's at €10 cost per lead. The other one is at 17, so it is better. And all of the leads that have come from the new creative have not been dead leads, so that's actually even better. €40 has been spent on the second ad creative, 400 on the first. Link clicks on the second is 12, link clicks on the first is 128. Those are pretty much the important statistics. Landing page views is 10, and conversions is 4. So that's a 40% conversion rate on the landing page. That's solid. And in total, we're at 25, which is pretty good. That's good shit. Landing page is not the problem. The problem is the ads. We need better ads. And I'm working on it. I make a gig on Fiverr and completed 4 orders and earned $35, but now have no orders. Advertise more. The biggest constraint you have is that nobody knows you exist. So you need to figure out how to make people know you exist. Go to forums, make organic social media content, talk to a bunch of people, call a bunch of people, spend money on ads, whatever you can. Put yourself out there as much as possible and try to help as many people as you can. And that'll get people to know about you. That's your biggest constraint right now. 0. A. B. Your turn. You phone customers up if they leave your funnel so you can understand why they left and what to look into. Depends on what you mean by leave your funnel. If they don't get, I mean, you could. Some people do. You could go into, yeah. I mean, you literally could just, depends on how you frame it and at what point they left. Like, I would ask, for example, if I had a sales call that fell through, I would ask, like, if they're thinking of going with someone else, if they end up going with someone else, I would ask, I'd be like, you know, why did you go with them? R. Avan, none. Don't do any of it. Find a girlfriend. I wouldn't call them, though. I'd probably send them an email. I feel like calling is a bit intrusive. Like, I mean, I guess you shouldn't have any shame. Like, it's probably more likely that you get an answer with the phone. It'd be really awkward, though. But you could do it, yes. It's probably a good idea to do it, overall. So, besides the meta ad campaign, I got another appointment booked for tomorrow. Man, the speed to lead thing really is so important. Like, I called a guy that filled out my form literally like almost immediately. Like, it took like 2 minutes. And I booked an appointment with him for tomorrow. I have another guy who's interested in rescheduling. I have another guy that I had a call with, and he seemed nice, but he's kind of like shopping around. So I don't know if he finds a better offer, whatnot. Might end up going with somebody else. I sent him the decoy offer thing. I sent him the marketing plan. I spent a good few hours today writing it. So I hope he finds use in it anyway. What you can do for me? Depends on how much you can pay me. Hey Navy, what's up? If you can't pay me, the only thing I can give you is information. If you want some help with doing the shit, then you gotta pay. If you want help learning the shit, Just watch the streams and ask questions. Hi, who are you? I'm just a guy. Yeah. Literally nothing special about me. I'm just growing a business from scratch and I'm showing transparently the whole process of doing it. Talking about all of my results, sharing all the documents and everything else. Just a guy. Where are you from? Lithuania. Grew up in Ireland. Now I live in Spain. What about you? You're looking for interns? I'm kind of broke right now. So if you want a free internship, perhaps, if you're not an idiot, then sure, I'll give you a reference if you do a good job. I want to earn how I connect with you. What do you mean you want to earn? Do you mean you want to learn? If you want to learn, like, look, I can't do a lot of one-on-one sessions. Yes, if your work is ethical, why not? Oh, it's very ethical. Like, this is, I don't think you'll find anybody more ethical than me. I'm trying to do this the most legitimate way possible. That's why I'm transparent with everything. I'm not faking any of my reviews. I'm not lying to customers that I have previous customers. I'm doing everything very legit from beginning, trying to provide a service to help people. So you're in the right place if you're looking for ethical business practice, because I have very strong morals when it comes to this stuff. How old are you? What kind of stuff are you doing right now? Or once you can work with me? Like I'm saying, look, if you want me to help you with stuff, if you want me to help you with stuff, you can just watch the streams and ask questions. If you want me to actually do stuff for you, you got to pay me. So those are your two options. I'm not going to do one-on-one coaching for free because I don't have the time for that. Qatar 23 digital marketing. Ah, cool. You know, like, to be honest, perfectly honest with you, I'm probably not the best company to try and start an internship with for this because I'm still very early. I can teach you a lot. I know a lot at this point, but other digital marketing companies which are much more established would be better for you because they'd have more stuff for you to go off of. You get what I mean? Like, I'd be happy to give you some information and to take you on, see if I could give you something to do. But if you could only pick one, you should find a better place. Just honestly. Do you know about stock market? Not much. Just the basics. What's your field about? Well, I'm doing digital marketing. So our service is a complete client acquisition system. We're in the process of getting clients right now. So it's a startup. We finished most of the back end stuff and building the offer, website, etc. Now we're in the selling stage where we're trying to get clients. We have like a little over 20 leads. We have a few appointments booked. We're trying to get our first few clients. So by luck it comes same. I don't know what that means. Sorry. What do you think of buying and selling from Alibaba to Amazon or eBay? Drop shipping, you mean? It's I don't want to say it's oversaturated, but it's a little oversaturated. Like, saturation is not always a bad thing. If a market is very flooded with suppliers, that's probably because the demand is very high. So if anything, it's a good signal that the thing works. But the competition is really high right now, which is the problem, because it's very low barrier to entry. It's easy to do drop shipping, so there's a lot of people doing it. But in that essence, it's also kind of easy to outcompete most people because most people don't really know what they're doing. But it takes a lot of work. Buying and bulk reselling, I mean, so that's basically still just drop shipping. You're still drop shipping, you're just sending to your house before sending out to people. It's still the same process. You're buying from, unless you're manufacturing the stuff yourself, it's still a form of drop shipping. Kinda. It's just a slightly different kind. If you do your own branding, you can do branded drop shipping. That's more beneficial, more likely to work. You need to find the thing is, you need to find a good product and you need to know good marketing principles. You need to have some money to waste on ads that you're not afraid to lose. You have to be willing to make a lot of mistakes, and you have to be willing to stick with it for a long time. There's no, get this out of your head, please. There is no get rich quick scheme. If you want a sustainable long-term way of making money consistently, it will take a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of learning. If you do drop shipping, it could take you a couple years before you get profitable, depending on how long it takes you to learn everything. But if you could only stick with it for 2 months, you're going to be wasting your time. People always try to make you feel a lot of like fear of missing out, the FOMO. But it's always bullshit. You need to stick with one thing for a long time and adapt with new technology and introduce it into whatever thing you're doing. But you need to stick with it and be consistent. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. Do you know about your LTGP CAC ratio yet? No, because I don't have any clients. I don't have a gross profit right now. We're at 0. Our CAC ratio is undefined. If you're working so long, I could be with you as a partnership. Depends. Like, what would you bring in a partnership? I was meaning you permissible if you're a believer. I'm not. I don't have a religion. I'm not religious, but I'm not doing anything wrong. You guys, I think the only thing that you're not allowed to do is, no, there are a few things, but the main one is like interest related. Something like, I can't remember all the intricacies, but I'm pretty sure I'm doing something fine. I'll learn this the hard way. Yeah. I saw you join the Discord the other day. Where did you come from? Were you here yesterday? Because I was a bit suspicious about your account, because I saw your account that you had just made the Discord today, and then you joined. So I was like, is this a legit account? But I see the name now, so I guess it is. I guess you're just new to Discord. I was just curious because no, not you, Musk. I mean, Pro Moneymakers. So I was curious about that. I'm like, because you joined when I wasn't even streaming. So how did you like come across this? Bro, you need to change your look by change your haircut. No, I will not. This is the most amount of compliments I have ever received on my hair in my life. Most people love my hair, so I'm not going to change it. This is the literally, I have never gotten this many compliments on my hair before in my life. So no, I'm not changing it. You are in the minority. Sorry. Selling eBay to Amazon is a lot of work for little profit, makes it a low leverage opportunity. Yeah, nowadays it's quite difficult. I wouldn't recommend it as a first thing. You Norwegian? No. I'm Muslim. Yeah, I figure. Good for you. I'm not religious. I'm not Norwegian. You were really adamant about finding out. No, I'm not from Norway. You're consistent will make you successful in everything you'll do. Every time I see your live, I feel proud of you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You should also check your WhatsApp. I sent you a message. I'm waiting for your reply. It's important. Pretty please. I was asking you about the go high level thing. I actually, if you can, I would actually like access to an account. Because I really want to get a phone number. And I also saw some like really good stuff about it. That seemed like it would make a lot of my job much easier, like in terms of tracking. So it would be nice if you do so. What's up, bro? W hair, thank you. What motivated you to do that? Not just I figured, look, I came across a time where I was like, I don't want to have a normal life with a normal job. I have essentially 2 options. I want to be either rich or I want to be homeless. So I just decided, you know, if I'm going to be one or the other, I might as well try to be rich first. Your hair is nice. Thank you. Okay, just you here, like you from there. What? I'm from Lithuania originally. How are you, Checkered? I made other account on Discord 2 years, but I joined your server with a new account. Okay, okay, makes sense. I was just wondering, how did you come across it? Because you joined when I wasn't streaming, so it just made me curious. And it was a new account, so I was like, eh. I was actually thinking of messaging you and like interrogating you to find out. Hasnain, I'll get you your message, brother. There's more than just you. Like, you don't have to spam. If you spam, I'm gonna ban you. No spam in chat. Stop with the spamming. Stop with the spamming. Stop it. Cut it out. Cut it out. I'm gonna give you a second just because the YouTube takes a little bit to catch up. If you spam again, you're gone. You don't want to be the first person to get banned, I'm guessing. No, I'm not married. Replied, sorry for late reply. No worries, don't worry about it. Nice. Okay, cool. I'll respond to you afterwards. I don't want to like disrupt the stream too much. How have you been? You said the week's been messy. What's been messy about it? How a day in your life going as a young businessman? Difficult. It's very difficult. I'm doing this all alone, pretty much. I get the occasional slight assistance, but it's like 99% alone. It's hard. It's a lot of work. I've been doing this for quite a while now. Had some really shitty days, had some good days. Today was a good day. Today was definitely a good day. Booked a few appointments. Talked to some people, got a couple leads. Yeah, good day today. But it's tough sometimes, man. It's tough. It's tough to find a motivation, especially that I'm on the brink of running out of money. Like, I have about 20-ish days left. I'm only going to run this series for another 17 days. I said I'll go till day 90, because then at that point, I'm going to have to really think about my other options. So, yeah. It's tough. My friend and I thought of an idea, but it was not successful. What was the idea? What'd you do? Good, bro. Just at 600 subs today. Working on Even. Nice. Good to hear. I'm happy for you. Keep it up. Keep the consistency. I'm telling you, if you make incremental improvements every single day and you keep doing that shit for 10 years, it is going to work. I promise you, it is going to work. Used to buy stickers from Temu because they're cheap, unbreakable, and small. So easy to ship when I sold them on Etsy. So you resold the stickers on Etsy? Huh. What was your profit margin on that like? Hi, brother. I have to leave because I'm really busy these days. Learn so much. Yeah, no problem. Of course, I totally understand. Nice to see you. Hope you have a good night, and don't overwork yourself too much. University student. You're a university student. What do you do? What are you in university for? Family can help you out with that or take a loan. I can't take a loan. Nobody would give me a loan because I don't have any income. So, but no, my family doesn't know. I've been lying to everybody, and I left without their knowledge. I've been doing this completely alone. I only have my mom, and she doesn't know. She thinks I'm still employed, and I couldn't tell her because she would be making my life very difficult about doing this. I really had to jump off the edge for this. I know you Muslims tend to have like very close families. I'm not really that close with mine, and mine is not very supportive. So I'm all on my own, man. Don't know what to tell you. Thanks, man. Yeah, no problem. It's nice to see you always. Only 19 days left, bro. I don't want this to end. I want you to be successful and stream at the same time. I appreciate that. I hope I will be too. Look, it's looking up. We're doing decent. We're getting some appointments. Now it's just about closing. So I've had one appointment so far. One guy I need to reschedule. Another appointment booked tomorrow. Need to get more. Need to make more ad creatives. I need to fix some of my other systems. Once we get some money in, just getting a little bit of money in is going to make it so much easier to fix all of the shit that's happening, because I'd be able to get some help. That initial, like those initial first few clients, all I need is like 5 grand and we could start getting results so much faster. Feel you on that. I don't know if I responded to that yet, but yeah. Yeah, man, I get that. My parents hate me when I work on YouTube and edit, so I'm doing it in secret. Yeah, like you just have to go your own way. Like you can't conform to something in which you feel like you don't fit. It's like trying to shove a triangle through a square, you know? You don't want to put yourself in that position. You'll just get stuck and be bruised. You have a degree. I have a higher certificate in business management, and I am partially qualified as a chartered accountant. Do you help business owners in using AI or integrating AI in their business? I can. I know quite a lot about AI. I know how to build some like simple automation systems and whatnot, but that's not my primary service offering. I do want to eventually integrate it into my business, but I need to start with like one thing. I can't, if I keep going into different services and whatnot, I can't even sell one service. It's going to be too overwhelming to deliver. So I need to scale one service well and then expand. But that's something I will do in the future. If you stop doing cocaine, you'd have a lot more money. I've literally never taken a drug in my life. You're in the wrong place, brother. I don't drink, I don't smoke, don't take any drugs, never have. Bachelor? It's a high, no, it's 2 years. It's not a bachelor. I quit. So basically, the way it went is I went in to do a degree, a bachelor's. I did 2 years, and because of the route I took, I was able to get a higher certificate and then work towards getting a bachelor's by going into year 3 when I finished. I did 2 years, got that higher certificate, and because I got given the opportunity to do chartered accountants instead, usually they require a bachelor's degree, but I was very persistent about them letting me in, and I did the interview and whatnot, and they liked me, so I quit college and I went to do that instead. And then I worked in audit full time for 2 years while doing the chartered accountants qualifications, and yeah, now I'm here. Then I quit to do this. It's been a long journey, man. I am such a different person than I was a year ago. Like I can't tell you how much you learn about the world when you start doing this. You really start to realize that like you just look at life through such a different lens. It's really difficult to explain. Like I used to think that business was something that was so unattainable. Like you had to have an amazing idea, you have to build something new, you have to have a loan, have loads of money to start something. But man, my world has been completely flipped. I mean, look around you. Look around you and see just how many businesses there are. It's really not as rare as you imagine. 1 in 100 people is a millionaire. Let that sink in. You know how many people have a six-pack? 1 in 10,000. It's 100 times harder to have a six-pack than to be a millionaire. It's like, trust me, when you start doing this, you just start looking at the entire world completely differently. You start seeing every single interaction differently. You start seeing businesses completely differently. Anytime you buy something, you see every trick of the trade that's being used. It really changes your perception of reality. Do you eat pork? Not often. Sometimes. I'm not a big fan of pork, though. I'm more of a beef guy. If I ever do eat pork, it's usually to eat like liver. So I eat something like pate or salami, but that's very rare because usually salami is full of like sodium nitrate, so I don't eat it. Chicken? Yeah, I like chicken. It's all right. We eat a lot of chicken thighs. When you start your journey, I mean, which year? This year. Yeah, I started around January. I've been learning this stuff for longer than that, but I've been taking it like seriously since January. And when I moved and started doing all this, when I settled, whatnot, started in January. Still had a lot to learn. I went through a lot of failures, a lot of experiments. I have a much clearer image now of what I'm doing, though. Takes a while to learn all this stuff. Meat liver, good for health. Yeah, I like liver. I like pate. Tastes good. I make it at home. Because the ones in the store, again, loads of sodium nitrate, really bad for you. How about your family? Are they Christians? I mean, technically, yeah, my family's Christian, but I'm not. I just don't. I'm not religious. I'm an atheist. I have my own philosophy on life, but I don't believe in a higher power. sometimes some shit makes me believe in a higher power, like temporarily, but as a whole, no. Why? Because I just don't like it. I'm a very logical person, and it doesn't make logical sense to me. I've had a few discussions about this on stream. I don't want to bore people by like talking about it too much, but I basically think that humanity invented God to put a limit on the power of our ability to create. So I think that humans can create anything. We have that part of God in us to be able to create anything. And we created the idea of God as a moral code we can follow so we don't take it too far and destroy ourselves. All of the people pretty much that are doing all of the horrible things in society, like creating, like for example, the other day I saw, well, other day, it's been a couple months at this point. I saw like some scientists making babies from 2 sperm cells. Like that's godless behavior. And I think that that's kind of the point of God. I think that smart people just came up with that and gave it as something to like personify for people to be able to extend their mind to. Because human beings tend to need something to talk to, something to kind of help visualize and understand their problems. So we like to personify things and we like to detach ourselves from our own consciousness. And I think that that's kind of what God is. It's basically an easy way for people to detach themselves from their own consciousness so they can debate with themselves. But because it's like a thing of God, they also have a little bit of that fear. They have, they feel like somebody is watching them. Whereas if you just imagine it as being yourself, I think that sometimes for most people that would be missing. Like I'm self-aware enough to understand that, like how that works for me. Sometimes it doesn't work, but usually it does. But in general, I think that the idea of God and creating a figure around this morality is really good for humanity, because I think otherwise most people would really struggle with having some kind of moral code and having some kind of limit on themselves and to be able to feel comfortable and to move through life easily, you know? I didn't explain this as well as the previous times I did, but I hope it makes sense at least. Can we have a conversation about that in debate? It depends. A great philosophy. Thanks. How are you today? I'm doing well. Much better than the previous few days. How about you? You believe that we made if, what, and how we what? Believe that we made it, what, and how we created? I think that humans invented it, yeah. And I think that it would always happen. Because I think people need to feel like they have something that they can rely on, especially in times of need and difficulty, and when you don't have an answer for something unexplainable. So I think that's why we have it. Kind of like, this is going to make it sound like I'm calling religious people crazy. That's not what it is. I just want to give you an example. If you had a person who was in total isolation and you gave them some kind of plush toy, they're going to start talking to the plush toy, and the plush toy is going to become their friend. Because we need some form of socialization and to feel like we have some form of somebody who we can communicate with, who can help us talk through our problems and whatnot. And I think that God is kind of like that. It's just a symbol in our minds that helps us kind of evaluate our own thoughts and analyze our own thoughts. Basically, it's an illusion of hope. I wouldn't say it's that. Like I said, I think that, you know, this is basically how I've explained it before. I believe the concept as souls is basically what God is. A soul to me is a piece of godlyhood. You know the way that they say that God creates things, he created everything, he's all-knowing, all-powerful? I believe that a soul is the concept of God that exists inside everybody. The same way they always say Jesus is in everybody, God is in everybody, he lives with us in our hearts, whatever else. And I think that this is what I would classify as a soul. It's our ability to create. That's what makes us unique from every other animal. This is what the God part of us, right? So that's the soul to me. It's and it has unlimited power. We can create anything. God sits at the top of that threshold and acts as a limiter so that we don't abuse the power that we have. We have a limited power, but when it gets to God, God is like, slow down, brother. This is where you should stop. And anybody who is godless, which is all the people that create all, have all of the sin in our society, that create all of our problems, that build horrible things that are bad for most of humanity, they go over this because they don't believe in it. And then we have all of the troubles in society. This is what I believe. As humans are made from clay, we have creators made from light, angels, those are made from fire. Yeah, see, like, I just don't believe in that kind of stuff. It falls on deaf ears for me. Have you ever run Facebook ads for dentist or other health niche? I have a couple friends. One of them is in the dentist niche. If yes, does Facebook ban your ad account more commonly than other niches, or is it just a myth? There is a higher there's an increased likelihood of being banned or having your ads restricted in the health market because there are more stringent rules. So if you follow the correct rules and you don't make promises that you're not allowed to make based on the advertising policies, then you're fine. But you need to know these policies. You need to make sure that you read the Facebook advertising rules for that. But it's fine. Like I said, I have a friend who's in the dentist niche, like specifically for dentists. Why are you asking? Are you a dentist yourself, or is that a niche that you were looking into? There are some niches like this that are a little more iffy. You gotta know some of the rules and regulations around them. I'm personally just avoiding them because I don't want to deal with it. Like, I would do it if somebody wanted me to, but it would be more work. So now I'm looking in the niche. Okay. No, it's a fine niche. You just need to learn the regulations. They have, I don't know if Meta themselves have the information, but I think that they might. And if they don't, then it could just be the advertising rules of the country that you could research. So what is the purpose of us to be here on Earth? I think the purpose for us as humans is to progress our species. The only thing in terms of like long-term actions which are consistent across every single species on Earth is reproduction and continuation of your species. So I believe that that's our ultimate moral goal, is to reproduce as much as possible. Because it's the only thing every single creature has in common. So I think it makes perfect sense. I'm gonna call you David now because the Ristina thing is like just weird. Because I don't know your actual name, so you're David now. Hey, David. And also, it's not Deborah. It might be your autocorrect causing that, but I just wanted to point that out. Reproduce kids, or do you mean reproduce innovation or make the world a better place to live? All of it. Anything that progresses our species. So have a lot of kids. Try to help the planet. Try to, help each other. Anything that is mutually beneficial for all of humanity, I think, is our purpose. And you will find, in fact, as well, that the majority of the joy of the human experience is in doing challenging things and in socialization and having children. You can look, there are scientific research, like, things for this, which explain it. I can't remember. There were like 3 things I think that you need to have a fulfilling life or to have a happy life. 1 was helping people. 2 was building like close-knit relationships. And 3 is having something difficult that's meaningful to work on. And all of those things pretty much also make sense in relation to the goal that I proposed. So I think it makes perfect sense. When we die, do we have life or is that it? I don't really know. I think it's probably just it, but I really couldn't tell you. I don't know how. It makes me wonder how, like, is there actually something in us that continues after death? Because when you think about the fact that some people who have had organ donations, right, who've had organ transplants, could feel or have thoughts that the person that they got the donation from has had. So it seems like there are some sort of memories that are stored inside cells, either cells or atoms. If they're stored in the cells, what I'm saying wouldn't apply. If they're stored in the atoms, which I don't know if we can actually prove, but if there's information stored in atoms, there is a very small possibility, in my opinion, that a piece of our consciousness can remain intact and be rebuilt later. Don't think that's the case, but also I think it would explain how you could possibly feel existence again, kind of like reincarnation type. So maybe in the future, a piece of your consciousness, like some of your atoms, can exist in multiple places at once, and you might be able to feel from that. But this is like very far-fetched for me. I personally believe that there's nothing, but I'm saying that there is a possibility that there is some continuation of your consciousness, because everything on the planet is energy, right? There is some kind of code written into all of the atoms on Earth, and we just don't know the complexity of it. Sometimes I think, string theory, some of you might not, but like there's this idea that atoms are made of like these little strings. I was thinking, what if inside at the very like base level of every atom is a little line of code, kind of like a computer, which has some data stored in it in the form of energy. Because everything in the universe is energy. Everything is moving. Every atom is moving. You know, even in frozen objects, the atom is just moving slowly. So maybe the whole universe is just one really big, extremely complicated computer. I've had this theory before, actually, which I believed that if you had a computer which could upload a simulation of the planet perfectly, like literally to every single tiniest detail, like every grain of sand, every single molecule in every single person's brain and whatnot, I believe that the computer would be able to predict the future perfectly. Because I think that we are all more programmatic than we think we are. Which for some people might find that very depressing. But I genuinely believe that, like, think about it. You're the kind of person that you are because of the decisions you made in the past, right? And the decisions you're making now and the decisions you're going to make in the future are as a result of the person that you have become, from all of your interactions, from the way that your brain was formed and everything else. Now, you could argue with me and go like, okay, well, I can make a decision that's completely the opposite of that. But I would argue that the things that led up to you being this person also would determine the decision that you would make in that regard. So in my opinion, I think that you can basically predict the outcome of anything if you have enough data on it, because I think that everything is quite computerized. Like it's like all of existence is some kind of program. Could be wrong, but I think about that sometimes, and I think it's a fun idea to play around with. Navy Sands, I'm doing great. I'm happy for you. Sorry, I don't know if I answered that before. So I missed your previous streams. You're juggling some projects, even though I'm quite busy. Yeah, I mean, you're not obligated to be here. We're talking about some philosophical shit today. Where did I leave off? Man, I will get a female robot. Don't be a degenerate. Just get a girlfriend. For hereditary dreams. Yeah, exactly. Like with the organ transplant, some of them have had that. Or yeah, like from previous generations of people. So it's all psychological. Which part? I hate string theory. Do you want to know what I believe in heaven and hell as all mankind from Adam and Eve came and Cain and Abel, then we have prophets. When you are a good believer, you'll enter paradise, not you'll go to hell. Yeah, I just don't believe that. Sorry. Why do I see you often? Because you probably watched one of the streams for a few seconds and the algorithm determined that now you are forced to watch these streams for the rest of your life. If you really hate seeing me and you really don't want to participate, and this is not a topic for you whatsoever, you can go to the streams, and before you click on it to watch it, in the corner there's 3 dots. You can click that and say, do not recommend channel. Then I will get out of your hair. I don't want to bother people. Like, if this isn't for you, it's not for you. We have a book on all past, the present, written, I believe, on human. You can do good things or do bad stuff. I do not believe in them as you used to be Christian. I was never Christian. I grew up in a Christian family, but I never believed in God. I was never a believer. That's cool. I thought you were popular before. Oh, yeah. I'm not. Do you not like popular people? Is it because you're like, this guy's not that big, so maybe I'll stick around? Are you one of those people that like doesn't watch bigger people? Or what do you mean by that? The part you said, someone having been donated an organ, having thoughts or feelings of that person, I think it's psychological is impactful to the donee. Could be, but I think there has been actually like some studies. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know if I'm recalling this information correctly, but I think there has been some kind of research conducted to show that they have experienced certain memories of the person that they got the organ from. I don't know. I can't remember. Like, I'm not saying this with 100% certainty, but I think there could be some truth to that because I think that all of our cells do carry some sort of information on a person, so I think it would make sense. I always find those kind of theories super interesting, though. Yeah, they are interesting. I like exploring different avenues of the human mind. Now, you seem cool, subscribed. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe I won't be so unpopular over time. Who knows? This is more of a side project for me. Like, I don't put a lot of effort into the streams in terms of, like, making them super engaging or super interesting. As you can see, the format is fairly simple. But that's just because I don't have time. Like, maybe in the future, if I have some time to outsource certain things and the business starts running properly, and then I'll have some freedom back again. Maybe I'll put a little more effort into it. I don't know. But this is just a side project for me. I'm actually very much interested in philosophy. Philosophy is quite cool. I used to LARP on it a lot. I used to think it's very useless. But I think it's just because the way that people describe certain things, I found really annoying at times, like especially the people who are overly spiritual. But I've come to really enjoy philosophical conversations recently. I like debating in general. I like thinking through concepts I haven't thought of before. I think it's a really good way to learn about the world. Everybody's perception of the planet is so different, and I think that there's a lot that you can learn from that. Sometimes, even when you know something, just hearing it from a different perspective can open up your mind to a whole world of possibilities you've never thought about before. I find that really, really fascinating. You interested in psychology? Yeah, I do like it. I think I'm a good people person in general. I've always kind of been that way since I was a kid. I used to be really good at knowing when somebody had something bad happen to them, for example. I was always very empathetic as a child. What do you think about this fundamental principle? With every hardship, there's ease? I mean, yeah, I think that that's logical. I think that it goes both ways, too. I mean, everything in life is kind of a balance of good and bad, right? It's like yin and yang. There's a little bit of good in every bad. There's a little bit of bad in every good. I think that pretty much applies to every single aspect of life. Anything that's hard to do most of the time will lead to you having an easier life. And anything that's easy to do a lot of the times will lead you to having a more difficult life. You could apply that principle to probably almost anything that you do or anything that you experience. I can actually apply the opposite of that with ease, there's hardship. In the developed world, I'll give you an analogy. In the developed world, We basically have an extremely easy existence. We have access to food, we have access to water, we have access to shelter. Even if you're homeless, there are a lot of places which give you access to that stuff regardless. You can live. It's very, very easy to live. We've taken care of in the modern day developed world of most of the physical problems we have. So life, in essence, we think should be easy, right? But what ended up happening was now we have a lot of psychological problems. Because we solved all of the physical problems, now all of the problems that we have are purely mental. It's all relationships, it's all friendships, it's all dealing with your own mind. We have more time to think than ever because everything else is handled. It's quite easy, you know? So in that case, it's like easiness created hardship because I think the psychological problems are quite difficult to deal with. Like, it's funny that a lot of psychological problems can actually be fixed with raw action. When we had more physical labor to do and life was more physically demanding and people were more dependent on you and you had to be more dependent on yourself and you didn't have such easy access to these things, you didn't have that much time to be lost in your head because you were always active. That's why like one thing that I'd recommend a lot for people who are suffering from depression or anxiety or any of those kind of problems is to go to the gym, get a six-pack. You'd be surprised at how many problems can be solved by just working out or taking a walk or something like that. It's unbelievable. The physical and the mental are very, very connected. It's even there in the breathing. You put efforts, hardship to take air, but not in breathing out. Well, yeah, sometimes when you're sick, that might happen. I struggle with breathing out sometimes because I have, like, asthma. So this is the only time I've ever mentioned that. Wonder if somebody would ever, like, let's say hypothetically I were to ever get more popular. I wonder if there's ever going to be a person who makes a video essay on me and somehow finds this video and learns that as a fact. That would be quite funny. But yeah, no, you're right. Like, everything is yin and yang. Like, I believe in every balance of everything. What do you think of elemental philosophy? Don't know it. Look, I don't study philosophy. I just like to think a lot. I'm a very self-reflective person. I always have been. I met somebody before who said that I've basically been meditating my whole life without knowing it. They were talking to me about, like, a lot of spiritual stuff, and I was like, all this is nonsense. I don't believe in all this. Like, I don't like this. And after talking to them for a while, they told me basically I've been meditating my whole life. What I do is I have, basically, before I go to bed every night, I always have a very long, well, not long, but I have a thorough session of what I did during that day. I evaluate all my actions. I think about what I could have done differently. And I think about what I'm going to do tomorrow and how it's going to change my life and whatnot. And I've been doing that pretty much my whole life. I don't know why I picked up this habit. I guess it's just the way my brain has been wired. But they were telling me, like, hey, you've been doing this stuff. But yeah, I don't study philosophy. I just like to think. Even for a challenge to read 2 holy books and prove me wrong when you see them. And I really don't think that the burden of proof is on me. I think you should be the one to try and prove me right. Try to prove me wrong than for me to prove you wrong. I think it makes a lot more sense to try and prove the existence of something rather than the lack of the existence of something. I think that's much more difficult. Isn't that called a null hypothesis? No, a null hypothesis is... Yeah, no, a null hypothesis is when you try to prove that something isn't true. Yeah. Isn't that more difficult? I didn't realize a lot of psychology is based on philosophy, dating back to Plato, until a friend of mine who studies psychology and in school showed that they studied old philosophers before psychologists. Well, they're quite intertwined. I mean, a lot of psychological problems are down to me, philosophy is basically a perspective of life, and a lot of psychological problems can be fixed with the right perspective. So I think that makes a lot of sense. They're very intricately intertwined. What about Stoic philosophy? I'm kind of Stoic to a degree, yeah. Funny enough, the first book I ever read front to back was Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And that's basically a book about... it has the journal of a great German general. and it just writes, it just has his thoughts. He's considered like a philosopher, but he was a Roman general, and I really loved that book. It changed a lot of my perspective on life. I think that's a great book. They talk about this thing called the Logos, which I think is kind of like a representation of like the universe and like the thing that is, like the fire of existence. And I found that very fascinating. And a lot of my ideas kind of correlated with that book. I found that a lot of the ideas in that book and a lot of the ideas he had, I already believed, and he was talking to me about them. He was talking about them in a way that was explaining it to me from a different perspective, and I think it just kind of deepened my knowledge on the subject. So I would say I'm like quite stoic in my life. Not everything, of course. Like I probably have a mix of philosophies that I've made. At this point, I'm probably following my own unique philosophy, but it's taking little pieces of everything. Alex is a philosophical entrepreneur. Is he? I mean, I don't know him too well. Like I like Alex Hormozy. I've read a lot of his stuff. I watched some of his videos. I don't know him that closely though. Have you ever had paranormal experiences that were really just in your head? Probably. Isn't the whole point that it's something like deja vu, that it's kind of hard to tell that it's in your head because your brain kind of tricks you that it's not? I've had weird experiences where when I was a kid, I used to be really, really good at predicting the future. Like it felt very deja vu-esque. Because when I would have something happen in the future, I'm like, hey, I thought about that like a year ago and this happened. But I think it was just my brain being really good at predicting things. I think that's what those people are like. Like, it's just your brain being very good at recognizing patterns and being able to make educated guesses on things. So when they come true, it feels kind of like deja vu in a way. But it's actually just your brain's pattern recognition activating. I think almost any paranormal thing that happens in your head can be explained through psychology. And if we don't have an explanation, I think that it's just because we don't know, and it probably could be explained. What's your work experience and qualification? I did 2 years in college for business management. I'm a part qualified chartered accountant, and I've been studying and putting a lot of work into marketing for a couple of years. And I've been learning a lot about the functions of running a business since January. I also have a year of work experience in accounting, and I have 2 years of work experience in audit. What does that habit actually help you? Which one? Sorry, I got a little lost in the sauce. Yesterday, I feel you have a clear mind and you will choose the right path. I appreciate that. I try my best. I'm not super into philosophy. I don't have like all of the answers or anything. But I just like to be knowledgeable in many different areas. I like to know a little about everything. I think that makes for a very fulfilling life. And I feel like the more different kind of neural connections you can activate in your brain, the more well-rounded of a person you'll be. I have a lot of very like mini skills as well. Like I can solve a Rubik's Cube very fast. My fastest time was like 15 seconds or something. I could probably still do it in under a minute. I haven't practiced in like 8 years. And I can play with a yo-yo. I know how to do some yo-yo tricks. I know how to do magic tricks with cards. I just have a lot of like mini skills because I've always been interested in learning a lot of different things. No sales experience, not directly. I think I'm just naturally good at sales though. I'm not amazing or anything, but I think compared to the average person, I'm probably much better than the average person because I'm naturally charismatic. And I'm not saying that in a way to gloat. I think I just have very good communication skills. My body language is very good. And I don't use a lot of like filler words. Obviously, occasionally they happen. But in general, like I'm very friendly too, easy to talk to. And I think sales is just kind of that. It's just being human, talking to a guy like he's your friend, not trying to shove anything down his throat, leading with value, articulating the thing that you solve for them effectively, making sure that they tell you about their problems. it's just kind of like a normal social conversation with a little bit of, I don't want to say manipulation. It's just a little bit of, you need to put more focus into certain areas to get specific answers. And a lot of that will just come with practice. But most of it, I think I already have kind of handled. Where you just one or two, you probably, you'll get sales here in your business. Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, I hope it goes well. With those traits, you'll be a best salesperson. Yeah, I think I'll do a good job. I just need experience. I need to talk to more people, need to get a little bit of practice, and I think I'll do well really fast. I think this is a skill I will pick up very quickly. I just need to have more calls. That's it. I suggest you look to Thomas J. Who's that? Thomas J. Defiant, he's a very good businessman. Sure. I'm at the point where, like, obviously I still have a lot of stuff to learn, but I'm at the point where I think I need to stop reading information because I have too much and I need to start putting it into practice. Deja vu is more like the feeling you've experienced something before. Yeah, I don't know all of the different words. I know there's different types of deja vu. There's like deja whatever. I've just grouped them under the one thing because I don't remember all the individual names. The habit is reflecting before sleeping. Yeah, I was told by somebody that that's basically a method of meditation. How do I articulate better? That's something I need to get good at right now. Just evaluating your own speech. Record yourself. Play back videos to yourself. Have conversations with people. Record them. Play them back. Try to analyze how you spoke. It's all just analyzation. Is that even a word? For some reason that sounded weird. Analyzation? Is that a thing? Probably, right? Yeah, but why does it sound so weird? Analyzation is a rare British English noun for the active process of analyzing something. So it is obscure. Okay. Good to know. I knew it sounded a bit odd, like I don't use that word often. What's your email? My personal or my business? If you want to contact me, I would prefer you do it through the Discord. If you go to my YouTube profile at the top, you can see a link to join my Discord community. I need to blow my nose. Give me a second. Just join the Discord. I don't want to email with people because it fills up my inbox too much. Don't have Discord. You can message me on Instagram. You might better get a sales job where you can have the luxury of more frequency of sales calls and rigorously practicing them to get better. Yeah, I could, but I'm so deep into this that I really don't want to stop. Like, I moved country. I moved to Spain where I cannot do that because I don't speak Spanish. And if I had to move back to where I'm from, I would have to go back to living with my mom because I wouldn't be able to afford to live by myself. Once I'm out of my savings, I am screwed. I have about 20 days left to make this work. So if that doesn't work though, like if I have to stop, then I was planning on getting a sales job. The moment when you use a word you're not sure is real, but it is. Yeah, it's just, it sounded like it was a word, but I just don't think I use it much. How do you eat or drink? With my mouth and hands usually. Yeah, fork, spoon, depends on. Yeah, I know I'm being facetious, but I don't really know what you mean. Crocs are grippy? What the fuck are you... What do you mean? What the fuck is that? That's the most random thing you could have said. What are you talking about? I'm actually wearing Crocs. I like them as indoor slippers. They're very comfortable. You say you are a bork. What is a bork? What? Excuse me? That sounds like an insult. You bork. Bork can refer to the slang term meaning to ruin or mess up something. Call me a bork? You asshole. No cash, no money. Yeah, I'm very broke. Oh, broke. Oh, I think you meant broke. Yeah, I have no money. Some cultures only eat with their hands, so I guess that's where the question comes from. Not with utensils like us fancy folks. Yeah, no, I typically use utensils. Occasionally I don't. I actually have been dealing with this really annoying lip problem. I think I have perioral dermatitis, I think it's called. It's been killing me, man. I've had it for like over a year now. And because of that, even when it comes to stuff like sandwiches or pizza or something, I usually eat it with a knife and fork. Because I don't like when the stuff touches my lips, because then I have to put some stuff back on them because it starts to hurt a lot. You cook on your own? No, my girlfriend cooks. I do know how to cook though. I taught her a lot of the stuff myself. How do you help yourself? Help myself how? In what way? I help myself most by just being me. That's the best way you can help yourself. Financially, I've been living off my savings. I don't have any income. I left my job, quit my good career, lied to my family, moved country, took my savings to try and make this business work. And now I'm getting close to the end. But we're the closest we've ever been to having clients. So it's like a race to see if we make the sales before we shut down. How old are you? I'm 23. What are your thoughts on education in schools? It's horrendous. It's really bad. It's good for teaching many different general topics, but there's not enough emphasis placed on teaching useful information, and they teach too much unnecessary information in the topics that they teach. I think it's pointless. This is unironically the only good YouTube short stream I've seen on YouTube. Through that. I appreciate that. That's nice to hear. Thank you. I do stream in the other formats, by the way. If you prefer the horizontal so you can see more of me, I do have that. How do you save? Any tips or hacks? I literally just spent no money. It is the easiest thing for me to save because I'm very not materialistic. I want to be rich, not because I want to have a lot of shit, but because I want to have a big family. And I want to have some freedom. I don't like being told what to do. But I'm not materialistic at all. I'm not into cars. I'm not into massive houses. I'm not into watches. I don't like any of that shit. So for me, saving was extremely easy. All I did, I got a computer, a couple monitors I liked, and that's it. I literally didn't spend a penny after that. I worked for the whole year. I saved 98% of my whole salary. So I just don't buy shit. That's the easiest. As my viewpoint on the school system as well, I think the students being indirectly encouraged to chase a higher grade rather than understanding material is damaging the value of education. Yeah, I think it's also really bad that it puts you in an environment where it makes you hate learning. Learning should be fun. Learning should be exciting. Whenever you do learning by yourself, that's why it's so much better, because you find a topic you're interested in and you do your own research and you do it in fun ways and you do certain activities. In school, they teach you shit in the most boring way with teachers that are assholes and extremely annoying to deal with. And then you're forced to be around people who you might not want to socialize with, who are making your life difficult. And it just makes you hate learning. It makes you hate going to school. There's also all of the pressure from the exams, which again is dumb, because if you like something, then you will learn it and you will be good at it without exams. So the exams just put even more pressure, which makes you hate learning even more. So that's why it's shit. I'm in the same position in my life, only that I have a couple months to make my business work, not 20 days. Well, you're a little ahead of me, brother, so good for you. What is it that you do again? How you have a GF? What do you mean, how? Yeah. Bro said how. Yeah. Do you think I don't deserve one? I've actually never really struggled with women. I don't mean to brag, but it's just kind of always happened. I just have this kind of aura about me, I guess. I attract all the bitches. I'm just playing. How many siblings you got? I got 3 half siblings. I have 2 half sisters, 1 half brother. I just came your live from yesterday and looking forward to see you during the course. Just a quick question. Is it paid or any upfront cost? For what? I don't have a course. I'm not selling a course. Everything that I share is completely for free. The only thing that I sell is the actual service that I'm providing for my clients. I don't sell all the information. This is what these streams are about. I'm one of the only people who shares every single thing I'm doing in my business. All the documents, all of the information that I've written down, literally every single part of it. All the analytics, all of the email outreaches, the advertisements, anything you can think of. I show for free. There's no course. I was thinking if I were to ever make a course, I would want to have a lot of evidence that I can actually apply the information that I know. I know a lot of information, but I need to apply it first. I don't want to be a scammer. I think people that sell information who haven't done it themselves are scammers. I don't like them. I don't want to be like that. So if I were to ever sell information, it would only be if a lot of people really believed me and really wanted to have some good stuff that I have. Or 2, if I have a lot of evidence that I can apply the information that I'm teaching. Otherwise, I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to make money immorally. I don't want to be a scammer. Tech startup. Nice. Did you get pushed into going to college or was it your own choice? I wasn't pushed. It was my choice because I didn't really know what else to do. It was kind of a waste, but also it led me towards the path that I ended up in. Because of that, I found my accounting job. Because of that, I found my chartered accountant's course. Because of that, I got more familiar with business and kind of cycled from there. I did really well in college, actually. I graduated with the highest grade that you can get. Distinction. So you're the only child of your mom? Yeah, the only child of my mom and dad. My dad has 1 child with someone else, and my mom has children with others as well. It's unfortunate, but what can you do? No, but as you say, you're saying you're saving. Sorry, you split the bill between. Right now, I am paying for everything, and I'm living from my savings. I saved up a lot of money for a few years. I took all of that money, moved with it, and I have been living from the savings. I have not made money on top of that from the money I've moved on with. That's a lot of half siblings. Getting pushed into college, now I have to take on a loan that I can't pay back because getting a job where I live is almost impossible. How could you possibly be pushed into college? If you say no, what are they going to do? Are they going to kick you out? I think going to college in the US is the dumbest thing you could do. You don't take the loan. You will learn so much more from just your own practice. The only people I recommend going to college for is if you don't know what to do and you struggle a lot with self-discipline. But if you can actually devote yourself to doing 8 hours of study every day for a few years on one particular subject, you will learn 100 times more than you will in college. Same with Canada. It's the same with Canada. Living in Canada, my dad's been pushing me towards the college route for years, and it's either go to college or get kicked to the curb. Honestly, I would go to the curb. If you know what you want to do and you can be self-disciplined, don't go. If you can't be self-disciplined and stay motivated and you don't know what you want to do, then you should probably go. Because then at least you'll be doing something. And that's important. What's your advice on marketing for business? That's the most vague question I could have. Could you ask a more specific question? That's too vague. What's Serpicore all about? So we sell one particular service, which is a complete client acquisition system. Now, I know the irony of that. We don't have clients. But the problem is because I've experimented with a lot of stuff, failed with a lot of stuff, did a little bit of money mismanagement, and I left myself very little money for running ads. So now I'm kind of teetering. Like I'm 95% confident I will get some clients before I run out, but I just didn't give myself enough money. I'm using the same system that I'm selling, and the system will work, but I just don't know if I left myself enough budget. So I'm relying a little bit on luck. But we sell a complete client acquisition system. Like we would help our clients do everything. The specific service is we would build their landing pages, so their websites. run and record and edit their Facebook ads, do their email campaigns, help them with closing. But then I'd have a management package where we would also do the maintaining all of it, and then helping them with newsletters if they needed, helping them craft money models, helping them improve their offers, and whatever else. So we're kind of like growth partners in a way. We'd have the system that we sell, which is a one-time service, which we would give them, which they would get to keep. And then we have a management fee that's optional if they don't want to run the system themselves and they would rather have us help them and help improve their business over time, which would be monthly. Good man, do not let her pay certifying a man like that. Yeah, I don't wanna. I'm very traditional when it comes to relationships. Why move to Spain while you could live with your mom? Because I couldn't stand living with my mom. It literally was unsustainable to live there. I was extremely depressed, very anxious. We don't have a very good relationship. The kids in the house were screaming all the time. Can't have my own peace. Constantly told and asked to do things. It was driving me crazy. That's why. And I moved here because living in Ireland is extremely expensive. Dublin is... It might be the most expensive city in the world to live in. My hope right now is that my current investments pay off. I'm self-disciplined and was already teaching myself. Keep it up. Keep going. That's exactly how I feel about my current situation. Well, keep it up. Look, I wouldn't go if you genuinely... If you apply yourself to learning something, one particular skill, and you can stick with it and be consistent, college is a waste of your time. See you later. Have to go. Hope to see you. All right. Well, hope, nice to have you here. Hope to see you around. More specific question. My startup is doing a rebrand launch in less than 2 weeks. I need to come up with a marketing campaign for that week. What marketing strategies would work well? Again, like, marketing is not something that's simple that I can explain to you in a few sentences with no context. I would need to know. This is why I sell it as a service. I would need to know what specifically you're selling, what the unique selling points are, if you have any guarantees, how your offer is structured, what your website looks like, who you're selling to, who your ideal customers are, what experience you have in marketing, how much budget you have. There's so many things I need to know to be able to give you any form of advice. Do you understand? This is why it's a service, because it's hard. There's a lot of shit to do. It's a completely separate skill to do marketing. It's kind of hard. Like, if I could explain everything with no context in a minute, I wouldn't have a job, because then everybody could do it. What do you think marketing works when it hits people's heart, not eyes? Yeah, I mean, a big principle of marketing is making other people aware of you, and then making other people feel like you can give them their dream outcome with the least amount of difficulty possible. Like, Alex Hormozzi's equation sums it up really well. I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's something like dream outcome times likelihood of achievement divided by effort plus time delay. Something like that. That basically sums it up. You need to make people believe that you can give them their desired outcome, and you need to make them aware of you. You need to make them trust you. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, in the short term, I'd still need to go to college, but I intend on doing a bachelor's in IT in half the time. Why do you think in the short term you still need to go? Like, why don't you... Look, I don't know what your parents are like. I don't know how reasonable they are as people. If you took a week to make a draft business plan of a business you want to do, you include draft accounting, how much it would cost, how much effort you would put in, the stuff that you would research, the things you want to do, and you showed it to them, and you'd be like, look, this is what I want to do. If they're reasonable people and they see the motivation and they see the discipline, then you explain to them, look, if I'm going to go to college, I'm not going to use the thing. I'm not going to, waste my time. My parents are basically saying, like you described it, oh, you're cooked, bro. The only advice I'm going to give you, I don't want to push you in any direction. I don't want to be responsible for you ruining your life, especially because I don't know you. But I would say you need to evaluate what you want in your life. You have one life. Are you going to live other people's lives or are you going to live your life? Because you have the opportunity right now to get a job, go do it. When you're back from your, live by yourself. When you're back from your job, work on your business. You can do that. That is an option. Will it be hard? Yes. Will it be stressful? Yes. Are you going to piss off your parents? Yes. But are you going to live your own life in the process? Yeah. Whereas alternatively, you wouldn't. And you'd put yourself into shitload of debt that you don't want to deal with, which would take even more years off your life. You'd be doing something you don't want to do. You'd be getting a degree that statistically you're not even going to get a career in. What is the point? Most people who have a college degree don't do the career that they have a degree in. Look it up. Genuinely. It is a waste. The only times I would say go to college, university, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor, something that actually requires the education, something you can't do without the degree. But most jobs you can do without a degree. Most employers want to see work experience more than a degree anyway. Most people are out here with degrees, don't have work experience, don't get hired anyway. And then you need to end up working as an intern for a few years, get some experience. But you could have just done that to begin with. So what's with all the gymnastics? Just do an internship in the career that you want. After a couple of years, you'll be more hireable than the guys who are just fresh out of college. It's that simple. I'm telling you, since I've started doing this, my perspective on life has switched entirely. Because I know what it's like to be in your position. I didn't know all of this stuff. I didn't think about all of this stuff. I was running still on what I like to call the program. That I was told what to do. I saw one path in life, which is go to college, get a degree, get a job, have a family, work my whole life in that one career, maybe switch companies once or twice, retire, die. That's all I saw. But you have no idea how big of a world of possibilities there is. And no matter what decision you make, you're not going to die. Look, think about it like this. If you're young right now, you have the most amount of energy that you have. You have the most amount of willpower that you have. What's the worst thing that could happen if right now you don't go to college, you go get a job, you save up some money, work on your business for 5 years, and it fails? What's the worst that will happen? Well, you can still go to college if you want. You can still go back and work a normal job, which is what you would have done anyway. So what are you losing? And imagine the amount of things that you're going to learn in doing that. You're going to learn that, do I even want to have a business? But you know what would be harder? Doing it the other way around. Do you really see yourself in a position where you go to college, get a career, get a job, work in it for a few years, then you're 40, you're probably married, maybe have kids, and then start the business? Think logically. You have the most amount of time you will possibly ever have in your life right now. Take the risk. Live your life. You're not going to die. If it doesn't work, you'll just be back in the same position you're in now. You lose nothing by trying. That's what you need to really understand. You lose nothing. Sorry, I got very passionate about that, but I really want you to understand that you lose nothing. Do you work on business all on your own, or should she support you as well? Very rarely. I do 99% of the work myself. Number 1, theory, aim, target, vision, plan. 2, execution, work, struggle, action. 3, theory, evaluation, reports, conclusion, feedback. What's that about? I mean, that's pretty much how everything works. Kind of a structure of how you should attack any problem, right? Honestly, I would put execution above theory, personally. I think raw action fixes everything. People spend too long on theory. Sometimes never get out of their heads. I like to call it mental masturbation. They just spend too much time reading and learning things and are too afraid to take action. Whereas you're going to get a lot of feedback and learn a lot of theory from taking action. Listen to bro, I just finished uni and I don't want to get some loser job. That's why I'm taking the risk on my business. Yeah. And like, I wouldn't call it a loser job. I think that there's roles for everybody in society. Like, you gotta show respect to your janitors, because if they didn't exist, the world would be a fucking shithole. It would be disgusting. It would be ugly, right? I think that every single job is valuable. I just think that too many people are in jobs that they're not made for. I'm not made for a regular job because I'm not a regular person. There's nothing wrong with being regular, being normal. But I cannot exist in that environment. It makes me depressed. I hate it. I cannot stand it. I can't stand being told what to do. I'm very confrontational. I have a very strong mind and very strong opinions. I cannot be bossed around. I can't stand it. But a lot of people cannot think on their own. They don't have good critical thinking skills. They need to be led. They don't want to do these things themselves. They're incapable of having 80-hour work weeks and taking on the risk of, sacrificing the weekends, not being able to drink with friends and losing friends to do it and losing opportunities with women to do it and everything else. They can't handle that. Not everybody's made for that. Most people cannot have a business. A lot of people say they want one, but they don't have it because they don't really want it and they can't have it. If I gave $1 million business to the average person, do you think they'd be able to manage it? They would fucking crumble. They couldn't do it. So most people are not made for it. My problem is people working in industries that they shouldn't be working in. That's what I think the main issue is. I want to be somebody who opens up the avenue for people who know they don't fit in. Execution is the mediator. Without execution, there's no post theory, but both theory supports accuracy and succession of execution. Yeah, no, I'm not saying theory is unimportant, but I think that in most cases, if I were to have two people, right? Start one guy on theory, start other guy on execution. Guarantee you 99% of cases, the execution guy will not only know more by the end of the experiment, let's say his experiment was 6 months, not only will that guy know more, but he will have accomplished a lot more, he will have failed a lot more, he would have stronger lessons, and he would have succeeded a lot more. While the other guy might still be reading if he's too in his head about it. So I think execution is more important. Keep your savings in the bank or physical cash. Bank. Hey, Hussein. Sent that a while ago. Sorry, I missed it. Anyway, had some very passionate discussions here today. I'm gonna call it a day. I'm getting really tired. Both theory have the same nature as childhood and old age, while execution is adulthood. Yeah, I'm not saying that you don't need theory. I'm simply saying that in the order, I think that execution should come first. Speed and action are the most important thing you can do. Learning through action is more important than learning through words. And in my opinion. Because like I said, if you have two people, start one on theory, start the other on execution. Execution guy will know more, much more by the end of the experiment and have way more success. How much money did you have in savings before you moved out of your mom's place? About 15 grand. Somewhere around that. Anyway, any closing remarks before I shut down and hit the hay? Give it a few seconds because I know the streams are delayed. If not, I will bid you farewell. We had some nice discussions. It was nice to have you all here. Thank you all for watching. Probably going to see you tomorrow. It's funny how these streams have been like not so much business related recently. It's been more like Q&A sessions and discussions. And it's just that, like I've mentioned it a few times, that it's just because of the specific situation we're in right now. Once we finally get some client work, we'll have some more stuff to do on the actual streams again. But right now, the most important stuff I have to do is mostly stuff I can't really do on stream. So I just usually show the stuff that's been done. Should be business related. Yeah, I mean, it's still mostly business related, but what I'm saying is that I think you guys joined after that period, but for the majority of the streams, we were doing the work on the streams. But right now, because we're in the process of getting clients, and the most important thing for me is to make content and make ads, I can't really film those things on the streams. And writing ads is quite a creative process, and it's hard to do while having to focus like this. So I would just show them on the stream instead. But we used to do work on the stream. And once we get some clients and we're working on like landing pages and creating their creatives for their ads and some other stuff, I'll be able to show more of the process again, not just show after it's finished. That's what I mean. Anyway, have a good day or night, everybody, depending on where you're from in the world. And oh, hold on. What if you do a co-working stream where you can post a list of tasks you want done? People might support you. Probably too much hassle. And even if the people try to actually co-work, somebody's gonna fuck it up or delete the whole file because that's just how people are. So it'd be too sketchy. And a lot of the stuff I just would like, it wouldn't be useful because most people cannot do most of the stuff I'm talking about. So I think it would probably waste more time than be helpful. In an ideal world, maybe, but we don't live in an ideal world. And if I just send a shared document, it's gonna get wiped. You know it will. But yeah, see some of you tomorrow. Bye.